Hi, I'm Mia, a voiceover and marketing student from Whalers Creation. Hey, we have a great show streaming on all social media networks called FamVersations. It's a talk for teens and young adults. We meet with local professionals from Las Vegas and all over the United States. They share their success stories, challenges, and greatest achievements. Turn us on every Friday at 3 p.m. Foster, adopt, mentor.
Hi, I'm Lataria Kern, and welcome to FamVersations, the talk show where we get to meet amazing people like the young man I have with me here today. FamVersation is a show dedicated to educating and virtually mentoring young people from Las Vegas and every place else that they're watching us. Today, I have a special treat for you. We are meeting with the phenomenal, amazing Edwin Victory. And it says it in his name. I mean, who is graced enough to have a name like Victory? That means success, 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 success. You have to live up to your name.
Absolutely.
Edwin, how are
I'm
you?
good. Thank you. Thank you for having
Thank
me.
you for coming. Thank you for
Mm-hmm.
letting me come to you, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So, I want everybody to get to know who you are, Edwin.
Mm-hmm.
He is a businessman, he is an entrepreneur, and he has many different faculty years. Tell me a little bit about your growing up.
Well, I grew up in Houston, Texas. I'm originally from Houston, Texas, born and raised. I did normally what every kid does, I guess, go to school. But I went to school early on. I had a dream early on because I noticed in my being that I was talented in music and instruments. I started with the violin, and then that was elementary, and then I ended up playing the trumpet and the tuba in middle school, and then by high school I realized that I was a singer as well. But I knew I was a singer because my mom would, as a little kid, he put me in the choir at church, and being I was a little short guy, I would be loud, but I would hide behind everybody else. But everybody could hear me because I was loud. So eventually they pushed me to the front, and I grew up and started to realize that I was a performer. By the time I graduated high school, I had really gotten into my life as a performer, and I ended up with a scholarship to University of Maryland, far, far away from Houston. Like 1,500 miles away. 18 years old, and I'm now out and about in the world by myself. But it gave me an opportunity to see something, another life that all kind of connects the dots to where I'm at today. University of Maryland was the school where Art Shell, the first black general manager, coach of the Oakland Raiders at the time. Okay, now we're the Las Vegas Raiders. Being that I would pass by this statue of Art Shell every day going to class and reading what it said and who he was, and knowing that I had no idea that years later I'd be, in the city of the Raiders, but having a dream like that, and not only him, but knowing the dreams of like Martin Luther King and all the great people who came growing up, learning these things, it gave me a sense of being the kind of person who dreamed to be successful as well. You know, everybody wants success, but not many really either know what to do or how to get to the true success in life. So as a young person, I grew up with an air of success,
Mm-hmm.
and I knew being going that far from home, having a scholarship, former at the same time. It was a pretty amazing to even look back on, knowing what I've done now. So that's pretty much my early years.
Love it, love it, love it. And you talked about going to college too. So,
Yes.
um, when you decided to go to school, was it because you want to go and study music, or did you want to go and study business? Why did you decide to go to college?
Well, everybody in my family, all went to college. I'm not like, I have one of those stories where I'm the first one. Everybody went to college. My mom and my dad graduated from college. It always seemed like the thing to do, um, because school wasn't over for me after high school. It never even seemed as if I was like, oh, now we got to figure life out and go to college. So I was kind of naturally kind of bred that way. Um, and I'm glad that I did because a stability of learning as well as a great way for me to perform and have fun
Right.
in the midst
Right.
of college.
Yeah, that and you know when I grew up kind of like that too, and so when I was raising my kids, it was like, what college are you going to? Not are you going to college? But I became a foster mom, and
Mm-hmm.
becoming a foster mom, you know, you realize that everybody has different backgrounds and different
Makeup. Mm-hmm.
beliefs in school and desires. So I've learned that college isn't for everybody. So I don't really push it
Right.
as much as I used to because I grew up knowing that that's what you're supposed to do.
Right.
But now, I'm like, if that's the career path that you want to take, then let's look and see what it takes for you to get there. Do you need college to be able to do certain things, or do you just need to learn a trade or take some classes?
Well, college I became a career college person because I didn't really graduate until like 30. But in the midst of me going to college the first time at 18 and the time I graduated, I had become a professional singer and I lived the dream that everybody at that time wanted to live is to get signed by a major label and
Right.
see yourself on a major platform. And I tell everybody, songs are not created to be number one. They're marketed to be number one. So that means if they're marketed to be number one, that means you make a song, somebody has to have some sort of budget to put behind that to push you in front of everybody else. It's no real climb in the music business.
Yeah, it's totally about marketing.
Oh, it's probably about
Yeah.
money.
For sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
absolutely.
If you got money to market, then
There it
then
is.
you're planning on making a whole bunch of money behind it.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
normally it's not the artist making the money.
That's right.
I mean, somebody sees your talent
That's right.
and they know that they can market you and make money off your talent.
That's right.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons I've probably only been signed one time.
So tell me about that. Tell me about you being a professional singer, which I know you are, but that you are a professional singer and you got signed.
Yeah, I was signed to Virgin Records in 1995. I ended up on a soundtrack called Original Gangsters, which was Pam Grier, Fred Williamson, and Jim Brown. It was their
I
last movie
remember
together.
that.
Yeah.
I remember that movie. I may have seen it like, because I do watch like old movies over
Yeah.
and over. I may have seen it recently. So you're on that soundtrack?
Well, yeah, we remade Marvin Gaye's Inner City Blues for that soundtrack.
Uh-huh.
It was the number one song on the soundtrack in 1996. Was my first debut video. First time I actually saw myself in Hollywood. One, shooting a video in LA. Number two, with that type of budget and that type of treatment. That day or those few days a week that we shot the video. I mean, we come from some little boys from Houston, and now we're in Hollywood, and we got trailers with our name on it, and we got people that are extras that we never met, and we got all these people doing makeup and hair and wardrobe and
Ask if you need anything.
yes. So, and this was the first experience, the first one, and then after that, the song, we made the song, and then next thing you know. And that was during the time where you had Video Magic and Donnie Simpson and Sherry Carter and all these on BET.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, you're sitting on the set with them.
Wow.
And next thing you know, you're on tour. We got one song, and now you go from California back home for a little bit, and then they say you're going on tour on the East Coast. Then you go on the East Coast, and you end up in a city, and you go out. And first you hear the song on the radio, you were like, wake up, and now you have that experience like, hey, we're on the radio. We're on the radio. We're on the radio. Then we go to the radio, and we're now in the radio station talking to the host, and then we're like thousands of people in front of us, and they're all singing the song. Like, how does this go? What do you go? What happens from here? Now you're in limos, and now after the show, it's the after party and the hotel lobby and this, that, and the other, and you go into another city and it happens again, and then, you go to a club and you have to kind of now brace yourself and watch because you don't know these people, and it's all kind of different things.
Wow.
And then you're sitting in the van, and in the back, that's a little usher who's 15 years old. And you can see when he goes on stage, you see at 15 years old, this guy is going to be like super, like, man, he's amazing. He's 15. None of this has come to pass yet, but now, 2022, the same little guy that was sitting in the back is the same little guy that's rocking the Caesar's Palace.
That's right.
You know, and then to
That's
be
right.
here at the same time to see the manifestation, because not only is he here in Vegas, I'm also here in Vegas. And no, I may not have made the name of Usher, but God must not be finished with me yet, because he's still making me new. I'm new now. I'm after 30 years and being in the business and around everybody, I'm still thankful because I'm being preserved now to start again. And very, very blessed.
I'm excited that you are excited about your future, because I wanted to touch bases on that so and that we're going to be talking about, and that is, we know that your early years was, you discovering at a young age some talents that you had, and a lot of times, we discover our talents when we're young. I have a friend who's a judge, and he said that he knew in the fifth grade that he wanted to be a judge. And I know when I was younger, I knew that I wanted to do some like the things I'm doing now.
Yeah.
And so it's really interesting that you discovered when you were younger what you wanted to do as an adult, and that love never left you.
And even here, I look around my life and everything that I've done, no matter what the time it takes, is all manifested.
Yeah.
All of it. I mean, you look at these costumes, and I remember when I was working as a handler at Six Flags for people who were wearing costumes, not knowing that I would be now known as Black Walt Disney because of the work
So
I did.
speaking of Black Walt Disney, and
Yes.
speaking of your cartoons, I don't know if we can see these or not, but I wanted to make sure that. Oh my God! Do I have to? Do I have to buy this?
No, it doesn't break. It's not a break.
Okay. I didn't realize it was this
You
big.
have to-
It kept getting. I couldn't put my arm around it.
Yeah, that's all right. It's all
So
right.
these are characters that Edwin does.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about this business. Tell me a little bit about this side of you.
Well, I started 12 years ago making mascot characters, cartoon characters. I started a long time ago making cartoon characters, because I draw, and then because I became I went back. There's a period of professional entertainment, but there was a college career that didn't finish. Okay, so being that in between the college career that I didn't finish because I got signed, everybody thinks you're gonna stay in college and finish it, or you're gonna become a pro too early. You see what I'm saying? A lot of us become pros, and thinking that we're gonna do rich and fame. Not necessarily.
Some to jump on that wave as it's moving.
Right.
So
Yeah, much
but
like
that's okay.
yeah. Well, and when I did get the Hollywood experience, it didn't agree with my spirit. It really didn't. I didn't. I was doing things in my life that I wasn't really born to do in this body. I'm very in tune in the spirit, in my spiritual, beyond this body. And I realized that it was created to do something positive and righteous and loving. And I started to be the kind of person that wasn't positive and righteous and loving. And I didn't want to ever lose that. I didn't want to lose that part of my soul. So I made a decision not to be signed to Virgin Records anymore. So I pulled away from the group that I was a part of. And I pulled away. When I pulled away, I told them, I said, I want to make sure that I don't want you to feel like I don't want you guys to be successful. So I'm going to be your number one fan. I'm going to clap you all the way to success. But I'm going to go my journey. And my journey was as if I had jumped off a moving train in the middle of a forest. Not, and now I'm in the middle of the forest. I mean, by myself. But in that journey in the middle of the forest, not knowing that I would meet so many other elements. And then I got a chance to go back and learn again. And at that time, I went back to school because I wanted to be I was like, I'm a singer already. I'm a professional. I don't have to go back to school to do that. I already did that. So, but how did my picture that I took in Hollywood get on all those covers in the record stores? Now we're on all these posters everywhere. I was like, who did that? I want to be that guy. So I became a graphic designer. Why? Because I knew I didn't have a budget no more for Virgin Records to do it. So if I was going to be it, I needed a camera, I needed a computer, I needed to know how, I needed to know what and when and where. So I went back to school to figure that out. So being that I went to be a graphic designer, a lot of people ask me, "Are you a photographer?" Yeah, I can't say I'm a photographer because I'm not a professional photographer, but I'm a good photographer. But I'm really a designer and an editor because that's what I went to school for. I don't have a lot of time to wait for people who say that they're something. And if I have a camera, I'm gonna go get what I need so I can do what I need to do, which is edit and design. So even excelled in that. I mean, I told myself that I was gonna be the #1 designer in the world. So I started creating cartoon characters outside of the drawing. I started digitizing them. So by 2003, I had already made my first animated website and knew how to make the characters blink and speak. But 2009 comes around, and I had a baby named Isaac at the time in 2009, and we had an older brother his older brother's 5 years older than him, named Manuel. I mean, Mello. I'm sorry, I got 4 sons. Mello was 5 years old, and Mello said, "Daddy, draw Isaac and draw me a dog." So I drew Isaac and drew him a dog, and I created Baby Isaac and Mello the Hyper Dog on cartoon. And I made video out of it. I made songs out of it. I'm a singer, and I made it sing, made it dance on screen. And I had the opportunity to take it in front of thousands of kids, this video. And I had 5 videos, and I took it to Austin in 2010, and they loved it. And I said, "Oh, wow." I didn't have a coloring sheet. I didn't have a business card. I had 100 DVDs. And I sold every one of them that day. And I called my ex-spouse, she was my spouse then, but I called her and I said, "If we would have had one of those Chuck E. Cheese mascot things, I would have cleaned up." Because we had spent so much money.
Is that how this was evolved?
We spent so much money at Chuck E. Cheese, and here Chuck E. comes out with his costume on, throws the things up, and my kids go crazy. And I said, we spent so much money. If I would have walked in there the same way. So by 2010, I had my first mascot made of Baby Isaac, which is in here right now. I actually have the first costume. I keep it with me through all this traveling and I have kept the one that started me off. I've made 83 mascots now.
So that I'm clear. So you draw these and then you go and have them made up?
I have a manufacturer.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
I've been dealing with a couple of manufacturers for 12 years now.
So these are all original pieces.
Yeah.
This is all you.
Well, people think he's the Monopoly man, but
yeah, that's what I thought too.
Well, no, I tell him no, because for one, if he was a Monopoly man, his skin wouldn't be brown, number one. And then 2, he's a mixture. He's a mixture between the Pringles guy and the Monopoly guy. They just all look alike. Because if you notice, the Pringles guy kind of look like the Monopoly man.
This is true.
But that's Mr. Boss. He's the mayor of Victoryville, which is our city.
I want to make sure that people, oh my God, this thing is so big. I want to make sure people can see what you're talking about.
This is Mr. Boss, the mayor of Victoryville. And this is Manny Golden, his dog. And he's the dog.
And that's his dog.
He's the hip hop chihuahua. He runs every city, every block, and every hood, literally. He runs the streets. Yeah, he's a dog.
He doesn't have any home training. He just runs the street.
Yeah, no, but he's home training. He realizes that the earth wants to. His home is everywhere. He makes a home everywhere, and he makes friends everywhere because he's friendly.
Okay.
He's man's best friend.
Yes, I understand
And he's
that.
a hip hopper because hip hop is urban now. Everybody love it. But he can sing too.
I do love that, and I wish that we had time for you to go into characters. You can give us a little something, but we don't have time for that. But I want you to talk about your rings, because you explained to me that you carry your sons with you everywhere you go, and they are all lion heads. Is that right? Tell me about your rings.
Well, I'm my logo. My logo's a lion. It's actually on the back of my jacket.
Mm-hmm.
That's my company is called Official Victory, my parent company, and my dad was a Leo. My dad very, 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 very inspirational in my life, and at one point, the turning point of my career, my logo changed, and it became this logo. And it's not just a lion; it's a lion with a heart in the crown. Okay, And being, I have four sons, three biological, and I'm not with them. Who's not with them with his kids? Who wants to be? I hate those stories. That makes me so, because I grew up with a father and I know what it's like to want him to be there and not want him to be there, to argue with him and not argue with him, to understand him and not understand him, and to respect him and not respect him, to go through all those different things, and that made me who I am. My dad's no longer on this earth, but to have children and know that they've been deprived of a relationship with me and not by my choice. You see what I'm saying? This makes me strong. I didn't give these to my people, just gave me rings. I mean, these were given to me by people who, I guess they saw me in that way. Being it is my logo, even my statues were given to me. Even the crowns that I have were given to me. Everything I have that represents my company was somebody giving me a gift. So they became gifts, and I named them Charlie, Isaac, and Emmanuel, because that's how I know that eventually. And I told Emmanuel the other day, I said, he's my oldest, he's 20. And I told him, I said, you have to figure out how to get to me, because these belong to you and your brothers. Because if anything happens to me, you got to distribute them, because they belong to your brothers are little, So that's just how it represents me. It makes me strong to have my kids with me all the time.
I understand that.
Yeah.
I understand that. And so also another part of you is a STEM teacher. And I definitely want to talk about the world's greatest STEM teachers: science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. Tell me about that project.
Well, I create obviously I create characters. Another character I created in the process of doing the baby Isaac crew. We did 9 years straight with McDonald's in Houston. McDonald's Children's Fest is the largest children's fest in the United States, and they allowed me to be a part of this children's fest 9 years straight. And I would take multiple characters on stage, and I always noticed that I needed a character that wasn't in costume to be like the ringleader. So I created Mr. Gura, and at the end of the day, I couldn't find anybody to do it, but I found a friend who became Mr. Gura. So I have a crazy, weird, like creative mind. So I created like a new Three Stooges, and Charlie Gura, and my friend Rush. He played Roosevelt Gura, and he's Mr. Gura on stage. He was, out, not in a costume. So when I moved to Vegas, I was like, Rush, why don't you come to Vegas and, take a few days to be this character? And he never would come. So I said, no, it's now time for me to become his brother. So I became Mr. Eddie Gura, which is not me. It's a character like Medea. When
I was going to say,
Yeah.
you took the words out of my mouth, because that sounds like Medea, Eddie Murphy.
Absolutely.
All these actors that play the same role but different.
Absolutely.
Different personalities, different characters in the same person.
Absolutely. And that's what I do, just like they do. I have the same type of talent to do that. And Mr. Gura is America's favorite STEAM teacher. And it's STEAM because people forget about the arts. They say STEM and forget about, there's a whole group of people who are artists, who are creators. We can't forget about them, because that's where character comes from. That's where everybody, it's interesting, because a lot of people pull the arts out of schools and out of our programs, not realizing that a lot of people are talented in different ways that make them artists. Everybody's an artist in some way. Some people are artists in how they set their things up. Some people are artists in how everybody has an art form. So we can't forget it. So I make sure that we ride the STEAM train, and we know that it's not just STEM, it's STEAM. So Mr. Gura, he becomes that. And Mr. Gura is such a fun character, such a blessing to know that there's a teacher out there that really cares to teach children. And I just so happen to be the creator of that character, and I play the character.
So when you're working with kids and you're out in the community with different organizations, what are you teaching them? Like, are you doing science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics?
I do. Whether it be dance, I could be dancing and talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3. That's incorporating math, because it's numbers. You see what I'm saying? Technology. If I'm shooting a video and it's Mr. Guru, I can also show them, hey, technology is involved in how we're shooting this video. We're shooting on green screen, and the technology allows us to change the background. That's technology. Or computers did this. um, engineering. Engineering is one of those things that's done in every technological situation. You have robotics, have audio, you have video engineers, you have chemical engineers. So those things in our communication. So yes, in every way possible, we're always talking about STEM. It's all made up of protons, neutrons. You know, technology, arts. Arts is what we're doing. We're artists. We make music. We do these things. Engineering, mathematics. It all kind of works.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good,
Yeah.
very good. Well, you are listening to FamVersations, and my co-host today is Edwin Victory. We are sitting here talking about Manny Golden, his creations of characters that he talks to children and communities and events. And he is an amazing entrepreneur, as you can tell. So we're going to take a quick 5, and then Victory.
Thank you. My phone.
Hi, I'm Latoria Kern, founder and executive director for Family Arts at Whalers Creation. For us, family means foster, adopt, mentor, investing in lives of youth, and arts is the job training we provide. Join us every Friday at 3 o'clock on the YouTube Whalers Creation channel because we're interviewing local business and professionals from Las Vegas and all across the United States. Join us every Friday at 3 o'clock for FamVersations.
Live streaming on social media is the best new way to interact and bond with your community. Do you love to encourage, motivate, and empower others, but you do not know how? Well, your opportunity starts with us on social media shows. We have 20 shows a week live streamed across the globe with a reach of over 80,000 and growing. So you can host your own show, and you can be anything you want to be. So let's bring the community together, and let's bring the world to you. Join us now.
You're listening to FamVersations, conversations with local businesses and professionals from all across Las Vegas and the United States. FamVersations, foster, adopt, mentor, investing in lives of youth. And we are back, and we are continuing our conversation with Mr. Edwin Victory. This guy has so many facets to him, it's just amazing. I don't know where to start or where to end because it doesn't stop with you.
It probably won't. It probably. I got a lot of work to do.
Got a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
So, on top of everything that we've learned about him thus far, he has written a book, and it's called The 7 Keys to Victory. The 7 Keys to Victory. Let's talk about this book.
Well, first and foremost, you can get that book on Amazon if you go to edwinvictory.com. So that's a very, very easy way to get it. I chose not to have a personal website. I chose to make sure that everybody who would go to that website can first get that book because that book speaks my heart, speaks my mind. And I read that book all the time. I read through it, each letter every day is, because every letter it represents. It's in one day a week, so it's 7 letters. And I wrote the book because I know with a name like Victory, I needed to know what that meant and how I could literally maintain or get the victory. Because my first name Edwin, it means everyday win. Last name Victory. How do you go? How do you live up to that? So I wrote the book because I wanted to expound upon the letters V, validate. You have to be validated to go forward. You have to put your stamp of approval on it to send it off. Validation is your brand. How do you validate yourself, or how do you get validated to move forward in your journey, because you don't get the victory at the V. When you go to the I, you have to now take that validation and internalize, become who you want to be from the inside out. Don't worry about the vanity of outside in. Worry about the beauty of inside out. Internalize. When the light switch comes on, that's when you turn. When you go into the room and it's dark, you turn the light switch on. You got to start. You start challenge. That's the challenge. You have to challenge yourself. Your challenges aren't based on competing against other people. Your challenges are based on, are you competing with yourself to become the best? Once you know that, you really understand the transformation, because it's in the mind. It makes you understand that I'm going to go through a metamorphosis. I'm going to be, if I just hang on to the tree, you will not become the butterfly. You may climb the tree, you may lose your legs, you may grow wings on your back and never experienced this before. You may be in a cocoon, but if you don't know how to spin the cocoon to hold on in the midst of your transformation, you will not get to your O. And that's how you overcome all the things that you're going to go through. And then when you overcome and you become that person, you become like a Kobe Bryant and get on the court earlier and leave later than everybody
That's
else.
right.
You rehearse. But in rehearsal, you realize that that's only victor. Okay? That's only victor. It's not the victory. If you want to end at victor, you can. But you only get to the victory when you yield to your best and your higher self, which is also an internal process. And that's when you throw your hands up and give him everything that belongs to him, which is your praise. It doesn't matter. I'm not talking religion. I'm talking about knowing that there's a higher power that's going to make sure that you are okay if you just give him what he's due. And that's praise. You praise and praise and praise and praise and praise. And that pushes back the forces of evil that try to consume you. They're always going to be here. You're always going to have the challenges. But you have to praise yourself and realize that once you get centered, that's when the victory happens. And it may not come when you want it, but it comes on time.
It's always on time.
There it is.
There you go.
So that's the 7 keys to victory.
So I might have missed something, but was the why you?
Yield.
Yield. Okay. Why
Slow
was
down.
Okay. Okay.
And
All right.
yield.
'Cause I didn't want to miss. I was with you all the way until that why, and I was like, "But what happened?" Okay. So yield.
And and I say do like this because you look at the why.
Yeah.
The why is the V lifted up. So that's you
Yeah.
holding your victory.
Yes.
That's you holding your V.
Okay.
And wins a race. The first thing they do when they win the race.
They hold that victory.
Think about somebody who's getting arrested or stopped by the police. The first thing they do is say what?
I don't know.
Hands up.
Oh, okay.
And no, you want to look at it. We want to look at it
I hear
in the
you.
positive note, because sometimes even when there's a wrong happening and you get stopped in your wrong, the first thing you have to do is yield.
Yes.
It's the same thing. If you yield correctly, you'll get your victory. Because oftentimes, even though it may look negative, it's your yielding that turns you into a person that could see it clear.
See it clearly. Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And everything is only here designed to push you forward
Mm-hmm.
or to help you.
Mm-hmm.
We tend to look at things from a perspective of how we see it, whether it be good, bad, or indifferent. But if we take the perspective and look from top down, we really realize that it's all orchestrated to get us going into a direction, because there's no God that wants us to fail
Right.
at all. We have to figure out how to line up ourselves. Either we're forced to line up or we run into our victory. There's only 2 ways, but both of them end up in the same way. Either you're forced to put your hands up or you run into it and win.
Or you're glorifying. You're giving him that praise.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
That's how I dance, by the way.
That's how I dance too.
I didn't realize that. One of my cousins told me, like, you still dance with your hands? I'm like,
Yes.
yeah, that's my
beautiful.
style.
Yeah. And I'm a dancer, so I love dancing. I love, I dance at the LVAC with I'm being a certified instructor now for the hip hop dance class.
Really? Okay, you know what? I don't want to join I don't.
But they have it at EOS as well and
Okay.
other places.
So I want to join. I was asking a friend of mine a couple of weeks ago if she knew, because I'm still kind of new to Vegas. And I'm trying to find a dance group, adult dance group. I want to join an adult dance group,
Okay.
but I don't want to join a gym to have to do that. So we have to get a studio so we can.
Probably figure something out. We
Yeah.
probably know people that.
Yeah,
do it,
yeah. If you know anybody, let me know. Or if you know, want to set it up, I'll help you promote that.
Hey, might be
It
something
doesn't
to
matter
talk
getting
about.
that could be something to hold a conversation about. I'm just saying, Mr. Multitask, multi
It might be
business.
might be one of your things that we do on the Yo Info.
You got it. You got it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
That because look, I'm on my journey.
Let's make it happen.
That 21 day.
Yeah.
I'm on my journey.
For sure. For
I got slimming down to do.
Got you.
Okay.
Well, I lost 50 pounds, so it can be done.
It can be done.
Yeah.
That's my goal.
Yeah, it can be done. No, there's no excuses. I started my journey in that park across the street, and I started walking 10,000 steps and going to the stage and stepping on stage in the middle of pandemic, so it was nothing going on. But I was standing on stage and visualize myself back in front of those tens of thousands.
It's gonna happen.
Oh yeah, it starts with the one.
That's right.
I mean.
What I want to talk about that we hadn't talked about yet is that Raiders football video that you created. And I know you do a whole bunch of other videos, but that Raiders football video, oh my God, I don't know if she's able to play a little clip of that, but that is amazing. I love that clip. Talk to me about how you came to doing that video, why it was important, and it's how are we going to be able to get it out? What's the plan for the video?
I'm very, very thankful that I'm on time because football season it just ended last week for this particular year. That gives us a little time to prepare. I knew that that's what I wanted to do. I had a vision of, for one, Las Vegas. Las Vegas is known as Sin City, but I don't call it Sin City. I call it Win City. I call it Victoryville. Okay. I saw the stadium like most people saw it being built, and I knew it looked like a spaceship. It looked like they were building a UFO.
It does.
So
it does.
when I saw that, I thought about, looking at the Area 15 building, and I thought about Area 51 and Nevada, aliens. So I created the first alien rapper football player named Uneasy Win. Even his name, Uni, one, Z, last letter, Z, win. You just need one win. You just need one last win. All you need in life, all you need is one. Even it might not be the first win, but all you need is one. So Uneasy Win. And it's a concept that I thought about. What do aliens think about looking at Earth? So I thought about, everybody's like, the aliens are coming, the UFOs are coming. So yeah, they came, and guess what you got? You got Uneasy Win. You called on him, and you got him. So I created, because I'm a singer and a rapper, I thought it would be interesting to create a new type of mascot. So if you look up Uneasy Win, you'll see the alien mascot. I actually do it on Fremont Street here in Vegas. I have 4 songs now, 3 videos now, and I'm building more. So by the time football season comes around, August, September of this year, he's not only ready with music, but he's also fit, because I'm in the gym training just like a football player. I know everything I do it in 21 days, 22 days, and then 90-day lifestyle changes. Everything that you want to change, you change it in 21 days. 22 days, you have some sort of testimony. In 90 days is a lifestyle change. I lost a lot of weight. Because I changed my lifestyle. I not only changed my exercise, I changed the way I eat and my intake and how I eat and the times I eat. Whether it be eating the same food and liquefying it. I learned how to take something that I normally wouldn't like or love and become more addicted to food that I normally didn't eat. Now I eat it and I like it, and I know how to fix it to where it makes feel good, it tastes good.
Yeah, I'm there with you 100% because I'm a vegetarian. Been a vegetarian for 30 years, and but I'm a junk food vegetarian because I like all the unhealthy stuff. That's me.
I get it.
And with me, having this rethinking and me thinking of like this 21-day start to get rid of this toxic that I don't want in my body anymore, has made me not even want the junk food that I used to have every single day.
That's the same thing that happened to me. I stopped. I stopped, and I made sure that I don't lie to myself for one. And I said, so first thing, it was the killer. It's the sugar. It's the killer.
And salt.
Yeah, both. You know, so
Me too.
And in that, and also I still visualized myself on where I want to be, and now I go after it every single day.
My problem is it took me a long time to figure out I wasn't that skinny girl anymore because I had gained the weight, but I didn't think of myself as being, having the extra weight.
Right.
And praying that that person who I've always had in my head is going to resurface.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Physically resurface.
the first step is, the first step is to push out and do it. Like we were saying, and motivating kids and teaching kids, is that tomorrow is not here yet. Yesterday is gone. All you got is your present, and that's the gift that you have. And then you press what you do today. You should become 3% better every day. So if that's a push for you, push yourself into saying, okay, know how many days that you can really take to do it, because you don't want to burn yourself out. Know that, if I did this for, 3 days a week and I made sure I did it, do it. And don't excuses. If changing your diet is something that you have to do to get to desired results, don't make excuses. Just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nike, is it Nike?
Yeah.
Made a slogan out of it.
Just do it.
Just do it. Don't talk about it. Just do it.
Yeah.
So let's say that you're talking to a young person and you want to give them some solid advice about going into and following your dream. What would you say to a young person?
What I would say to a young person is that dreams are real. Ideas are real. Don't let anybody tell you what you can't do. Always know that you can do all things and can do anything that you put your mind and your heart to. But that's where the connection has to be. You have to be real in your heart, and you have to be clear in your mind. Write it down, make it plain, because somebody wants to see the vision that you have. Once you make it plain and you can explain it and put it on tables and put it in front of people, and people will come to you and believe in that. And in that, they'll literally come forth to help push you to your, and that's what you want to do it every single day. And don't let any, first thing is always don't let anybody tell you what you can't do. You can do everything you want to do.
That is amazing. I think I hear that almost from everybody that I talk to, that the naysayers, the people who tell you that you can't do something or you shouldn't do something or, whatever, when you pursue a dream that you have, you will reach that victory level while they're still sitting on the sideline going, I didn't think that you could. So definitely, kudos to you on that one. Don't let anybody hold you back from your dreams. And here's another tip that I have learned. Same idea. The difference is who acted on it.
Absolutely. That's right.
That's right. Edwin, thank you so much for giving me your time today. I know your time was short, and you sat down to rush through this interview with us, and I really appreciate it, because he's always busy. He's always doing something. But he took the time out today for us to get to know him a little bit better, and for him to mentor a young person, and hopefully that somebody has picked up something that they can carry with and run with his words today. That's our goal. You have been listening to Whalers Creations, FamVersations. And we are super excited to have the one and only Mr. Edwin Victory right here with us.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate being on your show.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And happy birthday. Oh, 2022. You want to say anything about that before we close?
Well, look here. Everybody's going to get a date that they'll never be able to get again. It just so happens to be my birthday. And it's 2/22/22 this year. This is a good day for you to figure out how to get your lineup, or figure out how to start your process in your life to get your victory. It's a perfect day. It's a perfect lineup. It's like hitting the jackpot. So whatever it is for you on that day, know that that's a great day to start. That's a great lineup to have. It just so happens to be my birthday, and I'm going to spend my birthday doing something really special for me. And hope you all have a great 222 holiday. Hey.
From Victorville.
From Victoryville.
Victoryville, love it. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
You're listening to FamVersations, conversations with local businesses and professionals from all across Las Vegas and the United States. FamVersations, foster, adopt, mentor, investing in lives of youth.